workshop stuff at the moment, and it's crazy.
Yeah, there's some really good creations on the workshop. It's really good what they've done. Like, I think people are getting maybe a bit tired now of like people just creating wonderful spaceships being the only thing that's being done.
Yeah,
I suspect it was a little bit like that with Minecraft as well. But,
yeah.
Right, so recorded starting, just loading up the world.
See if there's any Battlestar stuff. Of course there
Of course
is.
there is. There's even Star Citizen stuff.
Is there really?
Yeah, and this is hilarious because there's more of a Star Citizen game in Space Engineers than there is in the actual Star Citizen game right now. All they have is the hangar module, but in this you can, recreate the ships and fly around with them, which is it's hilarious. Right. Right. How do I invite players? Should probably look this up first. Right, invite it to friends. Invite. Right, invite sent.
Right. Okay.
And that used the Steam interface, so should there
just
we go.
connect on.
Right, yeah. So I can see you in the player list now.
Right. It's just downloading the world. World size is 2 MB.
Yeah, I haven't done anything in it yet. It's literally just the I loaded one of the pre-made starts, which has some stuff in it,
Okay.
and shouldn't be that big.
Just loading it. I was looking at.
Yeah, I see you.
Okay. I'm not in yet.
All right.
Still loading. Please
you're just,
wait.
You're just floating upwards for some reason.
On the loading. Hey, there we go.
Oh, okay.
Hello.
Hello. Right. Welcome to Space Engineers.
Whee!
Quite literally the best game of all time. Where have you gone? Oh, there you are. Yeah, don't fly off too far. Alright, so you're using the jetpack at the moment. If you press X, that will turn the jetpack off. But yeah, okay, yeah, be careful when you do that. Right, so so Space Engineers, basically Minecraft in space, is what I like to describe it as. It's just a game where you mine resources and then build things and then fight the people with what you just delete a block.
There we go. I'm just building.
Alright. It uses as near realistic physics and space concepts as possible. Like, I think they mentioned they had to make some allowances for the fact that it's a game, but things like inertia, mass gravity, all that kind of stuff. They will stop deleting blocks. Oh my god.
Sorry. I'm just getting used to the interface, man. It's all good. Like, in order to create things, you must destroy, right? So that's what I'm doing.
Jesus Christ.
Right, inertial dampeners up and down.
Yeah, so
Unequip.
if you press F1, it'll bring up
Yeah.
the whole sort of.
Okay, how do I unequip a skill that I've put on my, like, so at the moment I can delete things and place things down. How do I not do that and just go in explorer mode like I was last time?
Right, so if you see at the bottom, there's 1 to 0.
Yeah.
And so those are your equipped kind of items or actions right now. So if you
Got
press
it.
0, it will just be your hands, because there should be a hand symbol in 0.
Yep.
And then 1 to 5, which should be filled, will be different things. And then if you press G, I think.
Yep.
Yeah, if you press G, you can customize your toolbar with different possible, stuffs.
Wow.
Right, so we're not going to create anything just yet. We're going to have some fun flying around. So if you walk up to the cockpit of one of these blue fighters,
Yep.
and it should highlight and so press T to enter cockpit. So press T to enter the cockpit. Right, careful. Careful, you're going to break your ship, and you've already broken your ship. Wonderful.
Okay.
Right, press spacebar. Stop it. Press spacebar to go up. Right.
Okay. Yep.
And then C is to go down. So spacebar up, C down.
Yep.
And then WASD is forwards, backwards, left, and then right. And then Q and E is to tilt on the axis.
Woo.
Right, so when flying around, again you have to take inertia into account, because if you like hold down forward and then stop, you don't stop moving, you keep going until you run out of kinetic energy, or however, like, this is probably going to sound really dumb because I don't have the language to fully explain the science, but essentially don't assume you can like fly around like they do in the popular space shows, because physics doesn't work that way.
Okay.
Right, they've recently added in workable weapons, including rocket launchers and machine guns. Yeah. If you press G, at the moment I think you have missiles activated by default, but they're not on your toolbar. So if you press G and then put them on your toolbar properly, you can flick between them by pressing 1 and 2. So I've got bullets, so I'm just equip missiles, yeah, and just fire at the spaceship. You can just take massive chunks out of the spaceship. Like, the damage,
is crazy.
I know the damage modelling still needs a bit of work, but it's still pretty cool with the basics they got in now, I have to admit. Well, so a bit of an amendment to that. So there's a setting. I think there's a setting, but essentially, if you press forward and then you stop pressing that button, the reverse engines will automatically fire to slow you down.
Oh, okay.
So that's a setting that I think that's a setting you can turn on and off, and it's automatically set to on at the moment. So you still don't stop straight away, but you do slow down fairly quickly, provided you have enough. Because every oh crap! Oh no, I blew up my cockpit, damn it. Everything you create in Space Engineers really needs to have engines facing in all of the directions in order to move properly.
Okay.
And the more engines you have in one facing determines the kind of power and thrust, etc. you have on that particular... go away! Get out of the way! Trying to put my cockpit back in. The damage.
I do like the minigun. It is pretty sweet. So Joe, there's a toggle on here that says no gravity. So can you actually go into areas that have gravity, like on asteroids or something?
Boom! Did I get you? Sweet. So yeah, basically it's not really a toggle. It's a sort of a readout to show you where whether there's gravity and what direction it's pulling you in. So when you create spaceships and stations, it's mainly large spaceships and then stations. If you put down gravity generators, you then basically create artificial gravity for that area. That's, I think, one of the concessions they've made, because, you know, as far as people know, there's no way to create artificial gravity without spinning ship components in space. But we won't go into that. So you can plonk down gravity generators, and then it doesn't work in ships, I don't think, but if you're just floating around on your jetpack and then you turn it off, if there's gravity near you, you will automatically fall towards that source of gravity.
Okay.
If there isn't, your jetpack kind of automatically switches back on again, because otherwise you'd just be falling ad infinitum. That's how the game works at the moment. But
yeah.
So yeah, you can. I've seen some really interesting creations that manipulate how gravity work in the game. Like, you can create fast travel like thingies, where people have just created structures and placed gravity generators at specific points, so you essentially get pulled down through the structure. And it's like fast travel tunnels and stuff. I think someone created a Mass Effect relay from Mass Effect using
wow, that's awesome.
a similar principle. So, crashed again. Where are you, by the way? Oh, you're over there.
I lost my ship.
Yeah,
I propelled it into a different ship.
Well, I also
into
blew
the
your
red
ship
one.
up. So, right. So, there's landing clamps in this game as well, but I've forgotten what the key is, so I won't bother locking my ship. Because when I first started playing it was really annoying because you could park a ship in a bigger ship, like in a landing bay, but then as soon as that ship started moving, the little ship wasn't bound to where you landed. It just kind of stayed still whilst the ship moved, so it ended up kind of being knocked about and crashing, which is really annoying. And then they because there's always been landing clamps as far as I've been playing it, but they've made them magnetic, so you can actually stick something to something else. And people created, it's really funny, before they added actual warheads into the game, people created warheads using the landing clamps. So essentially you clamp something, you use a clamp to clamp onto something else with a clamp, and then you go forward, and then you stop at the same time as releasing the clamp, and the kinetic energy will continue propelling that thing forward. It basically created rocks out of metal and then fired them at things. It was quite... it's amazing what people have done in this game just by taking the simple mechanics. But yeah, I mean, at the moment this is the only mode. This is the only kind of mode available. It's creation, and so it's basically like in Minecraft. You're free to create whatever you want using the maximum amount of tools currently integrated into the game. But let me just, if you press G,
yep.
At the top there'll be tools and weapons.
Mhm.
I believe the one on the right, the hand drill, should be operational right now.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you equip your hand drill at the right hand of tools and weapons, and then where are you? If you can find me and come over to an asteroid.
Cool.
Where are you?
I'm just in the ship. I'm coming back down now.
I think I can hear you. Are you drilling through the ship?
I'm trying to.
Stop it. So yeah,
Joe, I've lost in a giant spaceship. Oh no, wait, I know where I am. There
you are, yeah. So I'm over to your right, no, to your left. Yeah, there I am. Yeah.
Got it.
So yeah, so essentially, the kind of in the sort of survival portion of the game, you go up to asteroids like these and then just kind of mine into them. And like, for the most part, you'll just get these rocks, but kind of hidden in asteroids are veins of precious metals. There might be one on the outside of this one. Let me just check. Can't see one, but yeah, you'll notice as you mine, little bits of rock appear, which you can pick up and then dispense. Like you can take them to like one of the a prefabricated block that has a purpose, and then they'll turn it into raw materials, which you then take to another one, I think, and those another kind of pre-made block, and that will turn those raw materials into actual usable materials like bits of metal and stuff.
Yeah, I've got it. Stone. Pick up stone. There we go.
Yeah, so if you press I, that will take you to, like, it will open the kind of generic terminal that's kind of in the game right now, where you can see all of the kind of bits that will be coming in, and your own inventory will be on the left. And so you have some silicon ore, some stone, some ice. These will all be usable materials in the final game, and you can use them and stuff.
That's cool.
Like, if you look at the original trailer, I think, or a few of the original trailers for Space Engineers, you'll see that there'll be a load of people running around, and a lot of like ships and structures will have a metal skeleton to them, which they then weld, and then the full plate appear. Like when you create stuff at the moment, it just automatically is finished, and you know, you can just play around and do that. But when you come to the final game, from what I can gather, when you place down a block, it's not automatically finished. Only the kind of framework is put down, and then you have to use your welding tool to then weld the full effects into it. So there's that kind of just extra stage of the design process, which I think is just fantastically monotonous, but it's going to be amazing. I think it's going to add that sense of realism.
Yeah, it would be good for atmospheric touches, won't it? Like,
yeah. And like you can create ships that like you can put bigger mining tools on like little ships and big ships, I think. So you can mine these asteroids a lot quicker and easier. And then you can collect the ore, and there'll be some scope for automated processes, I think, because you can have like where are you again, by the way?
I am just mining.
Just mining.
I am right at the top of the ship, big red ship with the radiator on the reactor on the top. I might be on the bottom actually. I completely lost the sense of where I am. Oh yeah, there you are. I see you.
Yeah.
I'll love you.
So if you go back to the platform where we started, you'll see a bunch of these like parts. One of them's a refinery, one of them's a nuclear reactor. There's a medical bay. You know, these don't really have functions right now. They're just there for show. But this is an assembler. But there is also kind of just generic tunnel or storage parts. Don't break stuff. Stop breaking stuff. Huh, that's a really cool effect.
How to love Joe, I only know how to hate.
That's actually a really cool effect. Anyway, so you can apparently there's going to be some scope for automation, like automatic processing. So you put it in a refinery, gets refined, and automatically sent along the chain to the assembler, and then it gets assembled at that end. And
that's cool.
I think there'll be some scope for ships to have modules where they can automatically pick up rocks as they go along. So you'll have a mining ship which will mine the rocks, then it will pick up the rocks, refine the rocks, and then send them to the assembler for assembly. And you don't even have to do anything, which I think will be good.
There is a nuclear reactor here as well that I can fiddle with.
Yeah, that's just basically where reactors is where all the power comes from, and you know they're not so kind of realistic in the sense that you have to put down wires and everything. As long as a reactor is touching part of the metal plate, the power is instantly sent along all of the available blocks connected to it. So it's kind of like assumed that wiring is built into every kind of metal block and plating. If that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
They recently added in kind of moving parts and rotary elements, which I don't really know fully how they work yet. Oh yeah, there's weapons as well. They said they don't want to turn this into like a kind of pure FPS thingy where you just run around and shoot people with the guns that they give you. They want you to run around, mine materials, process them, make a spaceship, and then fly around and kill people in the spaceships you've just made.
Yeah, that sounds good.
I honestly, it's a crime that not more people are talking about this game, because I really think it's going to be like the next big thing, like in the same way that Minecraft was.
It definitely has the potential. Definitely, like in pure atmosphere terms alone, I think it's definitely unique in that way. And the Minecraft space thing, like it kind of does this game a bit of a disservice, I think, because it's way more than that.
Yeah, no, I even when I use that description, I do kind of caveat it and say, it's more than that. But I think it's something you can say where people will instantly be able to contextualize what you're telling them. Like, oh, okay,
yeah,
so it's
completely.
Minecraft in space. I can sort of understand what that would look like then.
So, Joe, in the Steam workshop, there are lots of spacecraft already based on Battlestar Galactica and Star Wars and pretty much any sci-fi property you can imagine. So, can you like fly those, or are those purely like stationary models that you can't really interact with?
Well, it depends how the people who created them. Most of them, I imagine, you can fly. They will be fully workable and have all the working parts and stuff. Essentially, all you need to do is kind of download their world into your game and then load up their world. Yep. It's not like you can just create your own world and then download a ship into it. I think essentially people will create a new world, create something in that world, and then put that world online for people to download and experience what they've created.
So it's essentially a map then, to a certain extent. Like,
yeah,
you know, like an FPS map or something.
Yeah, you download a map with stuff in it, and then you kind of load up that map and then play around with the stuff, what you've, you know, downloaded, which is it's kind of like a simplistic way, I suppose, of dealing with user-generated content. But you know, there's talk of blueprints and stuff coming at a certain point. So I imagine it will switch from, you know, you just downloading worlds to you downloading blueprints and then taking those blueprints into your world and then creating what's on the blueprint, for example.
Okay, that's cool. So you're always working towards something.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, so it really depends on how people have created stuff in the world you're downloading. Some may have created just a look-only kind of visual Battlestar Galactica that you can just walk around, but you can't really fly. And other people may have created one where you can actually fly. But the large ships can be especially like really unwieldy, so you probably don't want to fly it. Like large ship movement is kind of, I don't know, it needs some work. I don't think it's kind of all there yet.
I do like the fact that they've got so when you're in the spaceship you can just turn off all the reactors. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like go silent. Like that's always a sci-fi thing, going silent and then roaring into action again. That's cool. I like that. Because that ship you're in now is pretty big.
Yep. I'm actually going to use it.
Can I fly into the ship?
If not, we're going to use it to crash
with my
the red ship. I was kind of hoping to catch you by
I don't want to be in
surprise.
it. I don't want to be here for that. Ah! Okay.
I know they've started adding more stuff in. There's more that you can sort of do now, but for ages, all there really was to kind of build your own ships and then kind of crash them into other ships. Just fun.
You mentioned intergalactic football as well.
Yes, I did. Boom. There we go. So yeah, no, I don't have anything set up for that. I don't know whether that's a world you can download, but in demonstrating, like, cause the guys they've been doing kind of updates almost every week, which has been really good. And some of them has been large stuff, some of it's been kind of small stuff. But in the last update, they basically had better synchronization for small objects in multiplayer worlds. Because in a world like this where it's online, I think some of the kind of the stuff is actually disabled, whereas if you go into a purely offline mode, there's kind of more available just because there's only you to worry about. But yeah, for the latest multiplayer update, they've now got better support for synchronization of small objects, and the way they showed that was just to have a small football match between a bunch of space engineers, which is really amusing.
But it's a player cap of 4, isn't it, at the moment? Or have they boosted that up?
I don't actually know. You can set the max amount of players. There is an option for that. I don't know whether it's artificially disabled at the moment or just set as a maximum of 4. But I think because it's still multiplayer, still work in progress. Obviously, the more people involved, the more difficult things become because there's more people to synchronize with. Obviously.
Yeah.
Like, even with just the two of us, you know, I can still see there's some glitches over what the game's like in single player.
God, the damage between these ships is really cool though. Like you can tell how procedural it is.
That's literally for like the first like kind of few play sessions I did. All I did was crash these two ships into each other and then just look at how the damage got modelled out. It's morbidly fascinating. Like really.
It is. And it's so impressive. Because you just don't get that in games, do you? You get it transitions into a different like damage state model that they've already prepared, but this doesn't seem that way. Like it's really impressive.
Yeah. Why won't you die?
Your bullets do nothing, Joe.
So that's kind of, I don't know, that's the basics. I mean, I'm there's this other stuff I could show off as opposed to like moving parts and stuff, but I haven't even played around with this stuff myself yet, so I probably wouldn't be able to do a good job. I mean, we can try creating something each, I suppose.
Well, I think we've done a lot. I mean, we've definitely showed the potential of this game. Maybe we'll get another opportunity to play around once you figure out how small working parts works, and then we can maybe do another video. How does that sound?
That sounds good.
Cool.
Alright, and I'll just you've been watching Andy and Joe play around in Space Engineers. I suppose now's a good time to plug the Generally Speaking podcast. Episode 2 will be recorded shortly, and it will go up whenever, I don't know.
Today. It'll go up today.
It'll go up today? Okay.
So yeah, or within the week. The week beginning whatever week this is.
Anyway,
So yeah.
thanks for watching, everyone, and we'll catch you next time.